When we first moved here in 2021, spring 2021. No, that's a lie. Okay. When we visited September 2020 to sort of see the place, we visited Seattle and Portland, right? To sort of compare it and see, okay, like which one should we choose? We preferred Seattle, hands down. The water side, the architecture, the buildings, the food. Although, we will talk about this later, I think Portland has better food than Seattle. Controversial, but that's for later on. Anyway, September 2020, we visit to compare the two cities, and we preferred Seattle, but we couldn't afford Seattle at the time, so we begrudgingly moved to Portland instead. Because that September, when we got to Portland, one of the first things that we saw was the camps. You know the kinds of camps that I'm talking about. I will show a few on the screens. I immediately thought, this city is not clean. What happened? No, we're not living here. I was like, no, it's not happening. So we begrudgingly moved here because it was more affordable than Seattle. And I was just like, okay, we're here. Let's just live here for the first year and then save up and move to Seattle. Right? That was the thought. That was the plan coming here. Just come here for 1 year, save up, and then move to the city that we actually wanted, Seattle. So we come here, first 6 months, we explore. Actually, the first week, the neighborhood that we luckily chose, has everything that we like, from coffee, tea, breakfast foods, lunch foods, food trucks, food pods, live music, all of the things. We landed in a perfect neighborhood. And it's the fact that we landed in that neighborhood that made Portland grow on us slowly and surely. We land here 2021, and I still hated it, mind you. I still was not a fan of the city. Because if you haven't lived in a major city with a houseless / homeless problem, you haven't really, it is a shock. It is an eyesore. Let's not pretend. It is really, it's sad. It is a horrible sight to see human suffering, to see someone shooting up on the side of the freeway and camping out and just living out here like that. We have survived a tiny bit of homelessness, really 1 night in New York City and 2 nights in Houston. So that was the extent of our homelessness, but never living tenting outside. So when we see that, it really sucks, right? And that is a problem that the city officials have to solve, but this isn't a political video, all right? But anyway, this was a major problem for us, and just getting used to the whole vibe of the city. So the homeless camps / problem merged with the grittiness of the city. If there was not a single homeless camp in Portland, the city will still have a very rough look, because that is the grungy, gritty vibe of Portland. It's not the weirdness still. We'll get to that. We will get to the food and the weirdness. But the vibe of Portland, it has a industrial vibe. And I kept saying, if you put Brooklyn in the Northwest, that would be Portland. That's what I think. So anyway, move here, not a fan of Portland, but but the neighborhood that we landed in was so lively and had so much things that we liked that Portland started to grow on us. It started to grow on me. And by the end of that year, by the end of 2021, I was still like, I still don't like Portland, but let's give it another year. I remember saying, one more year, let's see, and then we'll move to Seattle, or maybe we'll move back to Texas or back to California or back wherever we want. Let's just give it one more year. 2022 happens. A friend of mine comes to visit us, and I had to show this friend the city that I live in. So we actively planned things to do in the city. I had one of the most funnest weekends of my life that weekend when my friend visited. It was just vibes, just good vibes all weekend. We went out eating, dancing, sightseeing, just hanging out, and he stayed at a lovely hotel. So I got to see some of the nicest parts of Portland, and I sort of forgot that weekend that I did not like Portland the entire year, the entire previous year. So after 2021, then I'm like, okay, let's give it one more year. So now it's 2023, last year, and I was like, actively really exploring Portland. We went to Clear Lake last year. Was it last year?
Yeah.
We went to Clear Lake. We went to Detroit Lake. We went hiking. We went out in nature. We got to see Portland. We went to the eastern side of the state to hang out with friends there. We made so many friends last year. We went out clubbing regularly. We went out dancing. We went eating. Let's talk about the food. Portland has good food, and we have lived in foodie cities. Like, we've lived in Boston, Austin, Houston. I grew up in Sacramento, and Sacramento is a foodie city. Sacramento has good food. Sacramento has good food, all right? But Portland food is not to be messed with at all. At all. Not to say that every restaurant here is spectacular. No. But you have to really, really hunt for the terrible restaurants. Every other restaurant is spectacular. I'm not even talking about the food carts yet, because the food carts are amazing. The food carts here, they make better food than some restaurants in other cities. The food carts here make better foods than restaurants in other cities that we have lived in. So, this was last year. Last year, it finally hit me. Maybe this year. Yeah, this year. And this is a recent thing, right? This year, I finally accepted, okay, Portland isn't the perfect city. It isn't paradise. You'll still see weird stuff. We will get to the weirdness in just a second. But Portland has all of the amenities that I've searched for in 27 plus cities. It has all of the things that I love about the West Coast and all of the things that I love about the East Coast, with all of the weirdness that I love about the South. Speaking of the weirdness in Portland, there's some statistic about the strip clubs in Portland. So much that they compete with not like compete in quality, but they compete in numbers with strip clubs in the South. And the strip clubs in the South were one of my favorite things about the South, in addition to the amazing food in the South. But Portland has a vibe where you can be who you want. You can be as weird and quirky and awkward and cool as you want. You can be whatever you want. So it's not the theme song. That song in Portlandia is also very true. The dream of the 90s is alive in Portland. It's very true. Because you will see that the dream of the 90s is very much alive in Portland. Because you can be whatever you want in Portland. And no one will say anything because Portland is the first and true city that was weird. So keep Portland weird. That started here. Like, they are the original keep whatever city weird. They started that. And you'll see that when you get here. You'll also see some of the weirdness that folks talk about in the news, like a couple, but not so much that it sort of makes it impossible to live here, or it makes it impossible to enjoy life here, right? But you'll find your spaces, you'll find your niches, and you'll find like what makes you happy here, and like you will start living life how you want, because that's what Portland allows for, like anyone who wants to live here.
Pass me the mic.
Okay.
Without having the expectations, coming here has been a surprise every time. Every time we go out, every time we meet somebody new, every time we, you get that boomerang that comes back on something that you worked your butt off for 6 months ago, and now it's coming back like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting that to come back, and especially like this is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a place that will surprise you. You just have to be willing to put in the effort and be open to what the surprise will be.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That was very useful, I think. So the lesson for me, the title of this video is What Living in Portland Has Taught Me. And living in Portland has taught me to not judge a book by its cover. That's it. Portland has taught me to not judge a city by what I see and hear in the news. It has taught me to really go out and see things and see it, whatever it is, and really explore things for myself instead of just listening to what others are saying. Yes, there's value in, wisdom from folks who have lived life ahead of you, all of that. Yes. But if someone's like, you shouldn't do this because blah, 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 sometimes you should go and see for yourself. Sometimes, right? And this is one of those times where really coming out here and seeing it for ourselves really paid off. It really paid off for us. Like, I have met so many creative folks that I can work with every project that I have thought of in every other city I have lived in. All of those creative projects, creative thoughts can come to fruition here in Portland. And like you said, it's probably a matter of timing and maturation more than anything else. But yeah, perfect time, perfect place, simply because we did not, or simply because we learned not to judge a book by its cover, or judge a city by really the first impression, right? So yeah, that's this video, and I'm going to end it here. Any last words?
Papa Booey.
What does that mean? What is that? So I run a serious channel here. Anyway, I can't take you seriously. Okay. Yeah, let me know where you live and what you've learned about the city that you lived in, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and how living in that city has improved you, or maybe challenged you,
Or made you worse.
or
made you worse. Let us know.
or made you worse. Like, yeah, tell me, like, what has living in your city, what has it been like? Like,
What
how
has
is
it done
life
for you?
how is life for you in your city? You know, how is life for you where you live? Anyway, I would love to hear from you in the comments, and if you care, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. I will see you in the next video. For sure, I will see you in the next video. Bye.